Hari Om. I am Professor Tanmay Lakshmikant Joshi, and now we are going to discuss about psychological problems or psychological issues. In another term, it is also called as mental disorders. But before starting about this particular topic, first I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude towards Yoga Point, Yog Vidya Dham, Shri Guruji, and of course towards um, towards Gandhar sir for giving me this opportunity to discuss with you about psychological problems. Generally, we all experience some or the other way, some or the other psychological issues. We all must have been go through it. We may call it as stress, tension, anger, anxiety, sleep disturbances, imbalances between mood and everything. So, can we say that we are also abnormal or we are also having some mental issues? With reference to yoga psychology, psychological problems, they have its own different aspect or they have its own different meaning. So before discussing or before starting what exactly abnormal behavior or what exactly psychological problem is, let's discuss what we call as normal behavior, because the other side of the coin. So it is always important to understand the topic from all the angles. So normal behavior means these 4 to 5 key aspects. First is appropriate perception of reality. So normal people like we see the things, we perceive the things, events, objects, particular situation or anything the way they are. We see the things objectively, we perceive particular situation in real. In the sense, we don't have any other different perspective which is not there in reality. Another important aspect is ability to exercise voluntary control over behavior. So normal people or people who have healthy mind, healthy psychological and emotional well-being, they do have voluntary control over their own behavior. Because otherwise, if there is too much discrepancy between what the person is planning or thinking and what he is actually doing, so too much discrepancy or gap between thinking and action, it leads to stress, tension, which further turns into some kind of abnormal behavior. In technical or in social psychology, it is called as cognitive dissonance. In the sense, I know the right but I follow the wrong. However, so normal people, they do act as per their planning. They plan and they implement also. Now the third most important criteria to decide whether a particular behavior is normal or not, it is self-esteem and acceptance. So normal people have appropriate and adequate sense of self. They have self-confidence and they, in spite and despite of having n number of strengths and weaknesses, plus and minus and everything, they accept themselves. So unconditional acceptance of self and unconditional acceptance of others, it is the most important healthy sign of a healthy behavior. Fourth important aspect is ability to form affectionate relationship, either with our near and dear ones with uh, or or with our colleagues. So the more we are healthy, the more it reflects through in our relationships, in our overall uh, relationship with others again. And last important criteria to decide normal behavior is the productivity, efficiency, the output of a task or duty assigned to that particular person. The more we are happy, the more we are able to give productive output through our work. However, some or the other way, some or the other time, we fluctuate. We may uh, we may fall in some other criteria. Once Swami Vivekananda, he said that we all are different in degree but not in kind. As compared to abnormal people, abnormal behavior, we don't have something different bodily structure and everything. It is totally same, it is absolutely same. So those people who are admitted in mental asylum or in some mental hospital, or those who need continuous psychiatric treatment, with them, if we compare, it is only the difference in degree but not in kind. So our frequency, duration and intensity of getting emotionally disturbed, it is quite less as compared to those people who are, or who are having abnormal behavior. So two important reasons and two approaches are there to study abnormality, or in technical term it is called as psychopathology. Can we ask this particular first question to ourselves, that am I happy and peaceful in my life always? Of course, we are not happy and we are not peaceful in our life all the time. Most of the time, of course, we are happy and peaceful, but that means some or the other way, or some or the other time, our happiness, it gets fluctuate or affected. Some studies says that 50% of the population are going to suffer from a mental disorder at some point in their lives. So we are on the verge. However, most of us are currently in this particular lockdown period or in this COVID-19 period. We must have experienced and we must have observed that how people get easily irritated and frustrated. So what exactly means mental disorder or abnormal behavior? These four criteria. See, why we are discussing this particular introductory part or the background part? Because this is the fundamental aspect to study abnormal behavior. This is the foundation part. Abnormal means those who have suffering, the behavior uh, which is problematic to self and or others. So deviancy, social discomfort and everything. Another survey, it says that 1 out of 5 people, they suffer from a mental disease. And to be specifically, these are the four criteria. The behavior which is statistically rare, we can say that yes, XYZ person's behavior, it is very odd and eccentric. His behavior, it is totally different from rest of the people in society. The same thing deviates, a particular behavior deviates from social norms. If the particular behavior causes subjective discomfort, then also, and as we have discussed with normal behavior also, it doesn't allow day-to-day functioning. And if the behavior causes person to be dangerous to self or others, that's why terrorists, criminals, antisocial personalities, anti-psychopathic deviates, psychopaths, they are called as abnormal behavior or abnormal personality. So, to start with psychological problems or the disorders, American Psychological Association, frequently they have published Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder, DSM. Currently, all over the world, the 5th edition is used, and in this particular 5th edition of DSM published by APA, there are more than 350 psychological disorders we have. 350 or plus, which includes the list which is here: neurodevelopmental disorders, schizophrenia, bipolar and related, depressive, anxiety, OCD, quite familiar term, trauma and stress, post-traumatic stress disorder we call it, dissociative, then somatic symptom, soma means body, psychosomatic issues are there, feeding and eating related issues, elimination disorders. Apart from that, sleep-wake disorders, sexual dysfunctions, gender dysphoria, disruptive. If the person is not unable to control his instincts, thoughts, needs, dreams, desire, wishes, urges, it is called as impulse control disorder. Unable to control the temptation. So conduct disorder, earlier it was called as adjustment disorder. Then substance related, addiction part is there, alcohol addiction and some other substances. Neurocognitive disorder, 10 variations of personality disorder, cluster A, cluster B, cluster C, schizophrenia, schizoid personality, schizotypal, then paranoid personality, histrionic, borderline personality disorder is there, dependent personality disorder, obsessive compulsive personality disorder. So OCD, it is different than OCPD. Obsessive compulsive personality disorder, it is different. Dependent personality disorder, it is different. So like this, 10 types of personality disorders are there. Paraphilic disorder, some other mental disorders, medication induced, other adverse effects of medication and some other areas. Now for you it may be quite strange, but American Psychological Association, they have incorporated some recent disorders like social media addiction disorder, WhatsApp addiction, selfie addiction, internet addiction, gaming addiction disorder. The behavior which causes subjective discomfort, it is abnormal behavior. If we are spending too much time, unnecessary time, and by spending excessive and unnecessary time on social media or internet or so, in that particular spending unnecessary time, if we are unable to complete the assigned task or duty, then also it becomes problematic. So to start with, first is neurodevelopmental disorder. Neuro and developmental. The first category is intellectual disability. Intelligence, generally laymen perceive, or they think intelligence, it is like just how much the person is or the child is scholar. But according to David Weschler, the way he defined intelligence very beautifully. So why we are discussing the definition of intelligence? Because intelligence and intellectual disability, yes, there is a relation or there is a link. So the way David Weschler, he defined intelligence is an aggregate and global capacity of an individual to act purposefully, to think rationally, and to deal effectively with his or her environment. Unfortunately, there is a group of people, there is a group of child who lack in all these three key areas which are essential in life, which are essential in social skill: mild, moderate, severe, profound. The four types are there of intellectual disability, or rather four variations, and into bracket, so this number, it says about IQ score, intelligent quotient. Lower the score, higher the disability. Higher the score, higher the functioning. So mild people throughout life, they remain just like 6 or 7-year-old child. You can imagine the brain development of 7-year-old child. But here, even if the person's chronological or physical age is like 30, 40, 50, psychologically developmental, if we consider, it remains just like 6 to 7-year-old. So you can imagine the discrepancy or the gap between it. Physically, the person is 30 or 40-year-old, but his understanding, his brain development, it remains just like 6 to 7-year-old child. Moderate, it is like hardly 3 to 4-year-old child brain's development, equal to that. Severe, hardly 1 or 2-year-old child, and profound, even less than 1 year brain development child. But even physical development is just keeps on increasing day by day. So intellectual disability is there, ADHD is there, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. The child unable to sit even for 5 minutes in classroom. So if the behavior is affecting the child's academic achievement, we can say it is a problematic. Now you can search on some on internet some researches based on ADHD and yogic activities or yogic asanas. However, with some experts advice, you can go through in detail also. Another important aspect in psychological problem is schizophrenia. Schizophrenia spectrum and other psychotic disorders. So what does it mean by psychotic disorder and neurotic disorder? You might have heard the term. Neurotic disorders are curable, though they are psychological in nature, with the help of some psychiatric drug, psychiatric treatment, with the help of some a medication, counseling, psychotherapy or anything. We can cure that particular disorder or to that particular person. Example, depression, eating disorder, sleeping disorder, they are curable completely. But mental retardation, intellectual disability, personality disorder, autism, schizophrenia, they are not curable at all. So it is called as psychotic disorder. Schizophrenia in short means split between thoughts, and some key symptoms are like delusions. So delusion means what? False belief, false sensory belief. They can see the things which are not there in real. It is not like extrasensory perception, but they have false sensory belief. Another aspect of the delusion means suppose we have 2 to 3 persons sitting in front of us and they are talking with each other. In real, they literally are talking with each other on the basis of so we can say that they have some private issue to discuss or something else they are discussing. But this person who is having schizophrenia, he may perceive, he may have strong belief that they are plotting against him, that these two people are planning how to kill me. Example, false belief. So delusion means false belief. Hallucinations, as we have discussed earlier, false sensory perception. Remember, the important criteria of deciding normal and abnormal behavior is, so normal people, they see the things as they are, they see the things in realistic manner. But schizophrenic people, they have false sensory perception. So they may see or they may perceive that some car or some particular small object or anything, it is like moving from one hand to another. Likewise, they have n number of false, not real but sensory perception. Even their speech, it is quite disturbed, means incoherent. So there is no association, there is no link, there is no sequence in speaking. In another way, it is also called as word salad. So like at the time of having lunch or dinner, we have some a mixture or some combination of n number of vegetables. Word, so it is called as salad. Like this, these people all of a sudden, so they will start talking about a movie. All of a sudden, so they will jump from one topic to another, like with having no reference, no clue, and nothing at all. So they may immediately jump to either say for example a political thought, about then yoga, about then immediately lockdown or anything. So their speech, it is disturbed, and language and thinking, it goes hand in hand. So if the speech is it is disturbed, automatically it reflects that their thinking is also getting distorted or disordered. So these are the four important symptoms or and features of schizophrenia. Now let me share with you a true case, a true story about a girl. Say for example, her name is Shruti, a teenage girl. Shruti, now she is doing second year diploma in engineering college, and since last 6 months it has been observed that she has been feeling sad, gloomy, with lack of interest in studies. She says that she plans for reading but unable to concentrate. Lot of thoughts come to her mind. She feels that she is worthless and helpless. She also feels that she may not be able to complete her course, and the way she perceives that, this is way cheating her parents. See the kind of perception she is having. All these things, it makes her feel guilty, and hence she feels that her life is not worth living at all. So quickly again, if we revise, since last 6 months she has been feeling sad, gloomy, lack of interest in studies. She plans for reading but unable to concentrate. A mixture of thought is there, a storm of thoughts rather we can say. She feels that she is worthless and helpless. Guilt feeling is there. Her parents also agree that she has become lonely and appears to be in her own world. So there is support from her parents, there is support from some relatives or with some any other informant also we can say. She hardly interacts with her friends, so support is there again. In this way we can say, or to diagnose of this particular psychological disorder is major depressive disorder or major depression. So dear friends, depression, it is a very common term which we use every day. We heard many times, but exactly depression means what? Disturbances of normal mood. The individual may be extremely depressed, abnormally elated, or may alternate, switching between periods of elation and depression. So remember, Depression means constant and unnecessary thinking about past is what is depression. They maximum spend time about thinking past only. Mood disorder, some shaking reality or statistics we have. WHO around 15 years back they said that internationally an estimated 1 million people die by suicide each year, or one person every 40 seconds. Can you imagine? As per record on paper it says that after every 40 seconds at least one person is committing suicide in the world, even right now. The rate of depression as per WHO it is 4:1. So that means out of 4 people, out of 4 persons, at least one person somehow the other way going to suffer from depression in his or her life. And if depression left untreated, the last phase of depression is suicide. 40 seconds, one suicide. So in what era we are living? Little again coming back to little bit introductory part, but even highlighting the importance of yoga, psychology and all such kind of life skills, to be specifically if we speaking. We are living in an era where we have all kind of access. Within a friction of second we can easily communicate to n number of people, we can attain some distance mode education, we can participate, we can chat, we can transfer our money, we can check our bank balance, everything. We have AC, heater and every you just name it and we have it. But what kind of psychological development is there, or what is the access to enhance our mind, in short? So the study of yoga and study of psychology, it will help us to introspect ourselves and to develop our psychological abilities, capacities, capabilities, potentials to deal with the fluctuations of our mind. So coming back to our main point, depression, mood disorder with reference to psychological disorder is, so if this particular line, if we say if this is the normal mood, elation, mania, manic person we can say, and depressed. Some people may have bipolar disorder. So bi means 2 and polar means extremities. Some people for a couple of weeks they become manic, excessively energetic, hardly will sleep for say for example 3 to 4 hours, and otherwise remaining 20 hours they are energetic, enthusiastic like anything. And on the very next week, in the very next week, so they will immediately turn totally different. So they will become sad, depressed, nervous. 15 to 16 hours they may sleep. So like this is, so this kind of life they are having, or they are living. It is difficult for that person also, but imagine the people, imagine the family member, imagine the caregiver who are living with such kind of personality, who constantly within a week or after every week they just switch on and switch off from one mood to another. It is totally different. So according to Aaron Beck, Beck, he says that there are 5 major types of cognitive distortions take place in depression: overgeneralization, selective abstraction, they magnify. So what exactly They magnify the negative things in their life, and they minimize the positive things in their life. So instead of uh, focusing on the things what we have, so these people constantly focus, exaggerate, enlarge the things which they don't have. Even personalize. The guilt feeling is there, and arbitrary inference, superstitious thinking. With some studies, it has been also revealed that depressed people have some affected hippocampus, an important brain area which works for storage of long-term memories. Hippocampus, it works for storage of long-term memories. So now we can easily understand that why these people suffer or go through from depression, because they are able, or they are focusing only on the past life, and only earlier life, and that too in a negative way. So they are able to recall and remember only and only negative feelings and negative events of their life. That why that particular ABC has insulted me 4 years back. So what exactly happened, and why he or she betrayed me in this particular way. But these people unable to pay attention, or unable to focus on the things which they have, on the things which are really positive in nature. So it is called as cognitive distortions in depression. Another thing which Aaron Beck he coined, it is called as triad, cognitive triad. So tri means three aspects. So triad means hopelessness, helplessness, and worthlessness. I repeat, hopelessness, helplessness, and worthlessness. Depressed people constant having a total maximum negative view about self, that I am no worth, I am good for nothing, I can't do this, or this is not my cup of tea, it's better to quit, it's better to give up. Helplessness, I am so alone in the world, nobody is there to help me, I am alone. And hopelessness, remember, hope, doubt, it creates a mountain, and hope, it creates a tunnel in between. So always we should always have hope in our life, even it can be about some exam, some course, or even about COVID-19 lockdown period. We must have hope that this too will pass. This particular bad patch soon going to overcome, and we are going to. So because the hope, it is the basic psychological survival in dealing with stressful life. So Aaron Beck, he said that these are 21 important symptoms or features of depressed people. Of course, the frequency, duration, and intensity, it matters, because some of these symptoms we all may have experienced, we all might have experienced, but the frequency, the duration, it can be for a couple of days or so, and intensity, it may remain for hardly half an hour or so, and the effect, the intensity, it is just personal. But the frequency, duration, and intensity of those people who experience depression like anything, it is like sadness, the pessimism, past failure. These people, they have loss of pleasure, they are unable to experience the happiness, the positivity, guilty feelings they have thinking that they must punish themselves for making us some simple mistakes or silly mistakes. They immediately tend to criticize self. Frequent crying spells are there. They may dislike themselves. Remember, in psychology it says that love yourself, safeguard yourself, and be kind to yourself. So love yourself. To remain happy in our life, we must love ourselves. We must cherish some positive aspects of our life. Here depressed people, they have suicidal thoughts, agitation, indecisiveness, worthlessness, loss of interest. Even sleeping disorder and eating disorder goes hand in hand with mood disorder. So most of the time it has been found the positive correlation in all these three. Sleep disorder, eating disorder and mood disorder goes hand in hand. So appetite, irritability, energy loss, everything, and even loss of interest in pleasurable activities, even in sex. They have loss of interest. So most of those people who experience or diagnose depression, they have maximum of these symptoms. So recently we have discussed that depressed people, they have continuous and unwanted thinking about past is what is depression, and unnecessary thinking about future is called as anxiety. With this we will stop here. First we will discuss anxiety means exactly what. Feeling of apprehension about possible danger or anticipation that something terrible will happen. So anxious people, they have excessive and unrealistic anxiety. So their thinking, as we have discussed, it is future oriented, and in depression the thinking, it is oriented towards past only. Some factors of anxiety is phobia. Being phobic means what? Some irrational and persistent fears about either social aspect or specific aspect. And in response to that particular tremendous irrational fear, the person at times quit and escape the particular situation. So some people may have fear or phobia of height, of lift, of closed spaces, of water, or even of blood injection. If the person is having extreme fear about blood, but if the time has come to visit to doctor, then if the person is having strong fear of height, but his office office is is located, say for example, at 10th floor, 12th floor, then if the behavior is creating some problem in our day-to-day life or in our day-to-day functioning, then it creates a particular question mark. Panic disorder, the simple word which we use again very easily, don't get panic, don't get panic. So panic means what? It is intense panic, physical symptoms from sympathetic nervous system. Intense choking of blood, shivering, numbness, and forgetting also is there. And another thing is GAD, generalized anxiety disorder. The person is anxious not only about height or blood also, but he is anxious about almost everything in his life. DSM-5, they have incorporated obsessive compulsive disorder, hoarding disorder, body dysmorphic disorder, trichotillomania, and some other disorders under the anxiety only. So other disorders or other types of anxiety disorders we are going to discuss in our next session. So once again, thank you and Hari Om.